attacked is the brainchild of this policy. Mr. Speaker, I would want to urge the government, give to Bawumia what belongs to Bawumia.
How? What
in one breath, they say this man had nothing to do with the Ghanaian economy. He was not in charge. And that all the negatives of the economy had nothing to do with him. Yet, the same man who was not in charge was able to impose what they say was their flagship economic policy at the time, gold for reserve. After, it doesn't make sense to you. So they don't attract much credibility towards the man by that narrative. Because the man cannot be in charge at one time and not be in charge at the same time.
Afenyo Markin is not meaning the entire debut of person in this phone, you know. But Mahama baby or Namno. One say it is now known a fact after say lawyer and the appeal could be confirmed, say now or support it Canadian Japan presidency, not Bawumia. It is also established, say, at some point, I will say, Bawumia a bit made, you know, the position as minority leader, as I'm down. We all know what will you do? The man have already won the flag bearership of the MPP. The Open 2028. Or no, and as you campaign, man.
You cannot insult people's intelligence. You cannot tell me that the man who was the head of the economic management team was not in charge of the economy. And that the depreciation of the dollar was not his fault. Rising inflation was not his fault. Debt default was not his fault. At the same time, he was in charge of the economy, such that he can impose a so-called gold for reserve policy on the government to implement. It does not tally, does not make any sense, it is completely illogical, and it insults the intelligence of the people.
Minority no omusa. But what share the how Afenyo Markin is a group who are more common in album now. That's almost in the dome. It's one more call now. It's all and Magana for pen asem.
They Enyansa. Chairman to
national chairman. They say Western region.
MPP Negru.
Fiadana Ghana aya parliament na hono mo de papa isa se Ghana man penny John Dramani Mahama kwakojina simpie so at the State of the Nation address sooner for short at the ebaye ekire wo man no se de esika semesi akwakodru o kan ya ka se esi di na ya akono se tete wa ba yene bi bechicha no se ye kama eti apopa na ti eti akonyina no good word for se ye kama omode aba. And then they have money do 10 accumulation acceleration policy. Yeah, debe no a good boy ya. Then no don't come on Rashebe de fear sorry ye. Alexander Afenyo Markin the futu Rashebe Jenny. One no done then in or buy and was ha. Ta policy amodia best amodia bomb ho samrani and then na aboa me esi net meja na so no momfa asedano emfama eye Dr Mahamudu Bawumia san se wono and a day good reserve policy no e de e baaye en Kenya no a Kenya ne say ne Cedi ne some dey some ho samrane sa no.
What they have failed to tell Ghanaians is that the Bawumia that they attack, Mr. Speaker, the Bawumia that they attack, the Bawumia that you attacked is the brainchild of this policy. Mr. Speaker, I would want to urge the government, give to Bawumia what belongs to Bawumia.
Then na Kwakye Ofosu spokesperson at the Magana man penny MVP way. Mono no sama kam ho biem. Sa gold reserve policy ya mo samo na mo de ba ye. Ame nkroma penso, kotoroka mo penso, na ewo ho. Enitinyam na mo de baaye. Eba papa de emfama mo. Ade enye de, NDC fo ne se wo mo.
The IBB says, "Oh, this is an inherited policy." They claim that we have rebranded.
Yes.
A policy that they claim was called gold for reserve by Bawumia. Yes. First of all, and I spoke about a comical artifice. You see, they dress the man up in borrowed clothing.
How? What
in one breath, they say this man had nothing to do with the Ghanaian economy. He was not in charge. And that all the negatives about the economy had nothing to do with him. Yet the same man who was not in charge was able to impose what they say was their flagship economic policy at the time, gold for reserve. After, doesn't make sense to you. So they don't attract much credibility towards the man by that narrative, because the man cannot be in charge at one time and not be in charge at the same time. It is an untenable, illogical argument. Number two, to say that Bawumia is the brainchild behind gold for reserve, you must mean two things. Either that in the whole world, no central bank had gold reserves as part of their strategy to defend their currency, or that it was the first time in Ghana's history that the central bank had gold reserves. Both claims are false. Look, for 3 centuries, as far back as 1694, the Bank of England has had gold reserves. Indeed, they hold the world's largest gold reserves, if I'm not mistaken. Only last week, Sky TV was allowed into the Bank of England votes. They counted 22,000 gold bars kept in that one of their votes under the streets of London. They even keep gold bars from other countries for them. So the principle or idea that central banks keep gold is not novel. It is at least 3 centuries old. Unless they say Bawumia is like the Highlander. He has lived for 3 centuries. I was around in 1694 to propose this. I don't see how this is tenable. Number two, even in Ghana, the first time we had gold for reserve was in 1961 under Kwame Nkrumah. Before the MPP came to power, there were 8 tons of gold in the votes. Sorry, there were 8 tons of gold belonging to the Central Bank of Ghana, the Bank of Ghana. Indeed, Alfred, to put it in context, when you say 8 tons, it is not small. It means 8,000 kilograms of gold. That is what the Central Bank had. Then, between 2021 and 2022, they said they added 20 or 22 tons. When we came in, we've added another 10 tons. You understand me? So it is not true that having gold as part of the reserves is Bawumia's idea, because it existed as far back as 3 centuries ago, 300 years ago. Okay. And then in Ghana, it is not the first time that we've had gold in our reserves. Number 3, what was even the purpose of having a ramp up in gold under the MPP? 2 things had happened. Because of their distraction of the economy, people had spirited out their investment, especially those who were abroad and were investing in our country. Normally what they do is that when they invest in our bonds, when the maturity is due, they roll over. But since 2021, when they noticed a decline in the economy, they started pulling out their money. Indeed, the Bank of Ghana itself says that over a 2-3 year period, up to $6 billion was spirited out of this country by investors. So they had depleted our reserves to a point where they didn't have money to give to importers of crude oil. And it was going to pose a problem. So what they did was that they put in place a very opaque arrangement. They bought gold, gave it to an intermediary, who then went to sell it and use it to buy crude oil and bring it. That's what they call the gold for oil. It was born out of necessity because they had depleted the reserves. If they had reserves in dollars in the Bank of Ghana, they would not need to go and do any gold for oil programming. The other point is that if indeed this was such a novel policy, how is it that they started doing this in 2021? And yet, at the time they were doing it in 2021, the cedi was at 5 cedis to $1. Meanwhile, by the time they left office, it had gone to around 15 to 16 cedis. So what was the effect of that policy? So it was a useless policy that was just decorating the walls of government. It had no effect on anything. You say you are such a genius, you are bringing a policy to defend the currency. Yet the more gold you piled, the more our currency depreciated and imposed hardships on the people of Ghana. As far back as 2020, we had proposed a gold board, and the gold board is a unique arrangement. What happens is that the gold that we produce, a significant part of it is not accounted for. People smuggle it, and it ends up in Dubai and India and other places. So we said as far back as 2020 that when we win power, we will establish a gold board as the sole authority to market and export gold, and that you cannot engage in that, especially in the artisanal and small scale sector, without recourse to the gold board. So because of that, they've put in place measures to curb smuggling. And so you have seen a corresponding ramp up in the amount of gold exported. In 2024, under the MPP, 63 tons of gold were exported. Last year, Gold Board exported 103 tons of gold, which brought in $10 billion, which the Bank of Ghana used to intermediate in the market and keep the cedi stable. and at a level that made it comfortable for the people of Ghana to be able to buy things cheaper than they did under the MPP. Why, Alfred? You have a car. There was a time under the MPP when you bought diesel for 23 cedis a gallon. Today, that is not the case. When you go to the same filling station, you buy it for much cheaper. Why is that? Because one of the factors, the Cedi, has substantially reduced. That even if there is a marginal increase in the world market price of crude oil, it balances off and it makes it cheaper than. Indeed, since we've been in power, fuel prices have dropped for 13 consecutive times. That has had an effect on inflation. So for 13 straight months, inflation has reduced from 23% to 3.8%. So the MPP must stop this habit of giving undeserved credit to Bawumia in order to package him for electoral purposes. That narrative failed at the election because people didn't buy it. You cannot insult people's intelligence. You cannot tell me that the man who was the head of the economic management team was not in charge of the economy and that the depreciation of the dollar was not his fault. Rising inflation was not his fault. Debt default was not his fault. At the same time, he was in charge of the economy, such that he can impose a so-called gold for reserve policy on the government to implement. It does not tally, does not make any sense. It is completely illogical, and it insults the intelligence of the people.
Max.
Okay.
And this MPP for say policy no mo asori o mo ni NDC for kun wo ho NDC for bo mo samna na Cedi na ya kono ibia ye kama currency ni gina yie no MPP for say enfa so bo no nsambo ni nyina no en salute Dr Mahamudu Bawumia isan say wono na de gold reserve policy no de bae kenye no anke ne Cedi ni nyina ne na so
Afenyo Markin na menim di ntia de bia opese NDC for njodu no but me mahum bia onam no one say it is now known a fact after say lawyer and the appeal could confirm me say now or support it Kenya Japan presidency not Bawumia. It is also established say at some point I will say Bawumia bit made no the position as minority leader no asem home. We all know what will you do? The man have already won the flag bearership of the MPP. The Upe 2028. Or no, and as we campaign, man. And says, yeah, by the party structure, since already the presidential candidate, you know, is only second to the party chairman. MPP ni party chairman stands now. So meaning that the obey taking most of the decision, and then the funny part they say, or Justin Frimpong Kodia on the side of that, or Nana B on the side of that. Almost all the executives, you know, Bawumia side of that. And they have already helped me once. And I must have one view. So Onoka said, Mempe Afenyo Markin, and once the party will call Afenyo Markin, be able to fatu or be from me take over. And we know how this man won power.
Two parties into war, yeah, you must have your no position in your
now, apart from so, because a campaign message, no, they can't be on consent for that.
Because said the all can the good reserve will be any say. Dr Mahamudu Bawumia. And a chassis, and I did be on so chassis, and yes, all chassis separate open and a boom. Now I be
a name say gold reserve, no, Dr Mahamudu Bawumia started here, David. And that's the reason they. Oh, you're loyal. I am among Kayana. Gold for reserve. The boy currency, a whole buying. And about Bawumia's Eka say, at that time, your currency is depreciating. And you gold for oil because most of Sigana and oil and Cotabano. If you walk or so, a city so essay. Yedikusia, one a balance more into still an commitment organized a petrol need this and I tono, Cabafom. Now at the same time, a reserve on so increase. Set the bay ya. Sitting on a depreciation. And Batono. Pacho MPP Frisino, not sitting essay.
I yes, wow, craft from yes, so it's a year boom, no one answer.
Good.
It will mobile and if I say not Cedi area. And now when never poem with you go a queen Winston, I feel Cedi one answer. One answer, I'm saying anymore.
When we almost start to go for reserve, good for you. 2022, 2023, 2024. So, what they ever said 3 years? Said Mahama be take over 70 and come on with you. 3 years. Ghana per 10 for a president 4 years me boa and the over 90% of years now obedi as a president no area now you to abase beria and this was the same administration now 4 years we felt okay time Mahama de na oja to 2016 no enti monto aso now all of a sudden nipa na no nima de ne ye ka kire say Mahama ye incompetent na okọ IMF no enti mu ye free IMF ni mu and even on the days of IMF you were doing better in that first 4 years. You can't tell me so all of a sudden Afenyo area in the next 3 years na kano. Afenyo Markin is a lawyer. On back in kakra. Ebu ha minim say just some theater act. It's just here. But me who was here chairman say bon say no this agro ni bi o.
Anything na say or no dey so no.
Onya sensible politics. Na sa concept party nkomo unye we enwi ni obi a onima kenkan. Come here minim say go for reserve no. E start kwa me kuma pem so teteni na no. Oba ga say go for reserve no. When start here, we do atem. Oga say go for oye na. Me dey buy ya. Emo hallelujah nyango nchira wo. But go for in Yagunu, so Yahweh.
Yagunu, yes.
Mo. According to the Bank of Ghana governor data, we can't have parliament for now.
Yes, Yama.
Mo. Yeboka over 3 billion for that going for oil. Abomia introduce you know. Now, in any case, doesn't even make sense. Who are good, mommy? The whole world, dollar is the trading currency. And who good? Aya good ye. Oh, oil. And so natural resource Libya. What the dollar on the top? The friends oil. So in case Ghana ye the gold, anything be wa and get is the same dollar no. And never got to. Ana me born na wo gold ni bi dada.
Oil.
Ana wo oil ni bi. Na oil ni because that was 10% na ye gene de nyanse bi anim. Wo do gold no say wo si bi de me gold ni ko na makoji oil. Natural resource for natural resource. Are you okay?
Oh, you nice.
Are you okay? There was a time, and it's still the same thing. Now, gold was the actual natural currency. And then, currency, the note, you print it just as a receipt. Or you say, oh, 10,000 worth of gold, oh, 20,000 worth of gold. Then the United States of America realized after the World War II that it is now growing, it's getting power. And it's a bit trading oil, gold, $4 no koto. And we are seeing that too. It is a gold in the Spain Bank, Indian Bank, UK Bank. What's your reserve? A gold. What's your reserve of maybe 10 billion? A gold. A gold. And yet, dollar no.
Yes, society.
Baby, a gold.
Why you too no?
No say me oil. That policy was nonsense from the start. And there was no surprise here about over 3 billion. And so yes, Bawumia, it deserve credit for the good economy. Okay. And the bad Ghana biano. You for Bawumia didn't be. Let's see you did say atama, you did your mama them.
Now who ni say that time. That Cedi no e wo form. And na gold no so na ye tundodo. For no one say you will scour hanum say you good wo why betim dia kwakwaje de. And why not say yen fan won kwaje mfama.
With the fact that you have gold alone, meaning your economy have grown. What me pay gold in the towards a reserve? What economy now say, hey, what's it in air come from? Because you don't have enough foreign reserve. And then you say, Mbacho meba, any si buy, and you gold bond on meti. Meaning say, omujitum say a hub of gold.
Na samenya vika said omu ye ne yakro.
And I'm making. So was you send me the video go to as a politician at all. Guys, some of them feeling John Mahama to say, oh, you go for oil. Your reserve order. Go for oil now where they are. Oil no, you got crowd do never. Go in go young crowd good. Ye mum need to go. Sadia yamma gold no mum no, yampe wini ewa. Now say any you go there you want to do. You want to do you the real world market more. More dollars in the system. I don't know penny sir. At the 2 year. Gold board yet in April. By April we na in the May June. Not already 1.4 billion US dollars. Now for the economy now na cramble under the MPP no. Now say eh. And then your big push. Don't remind Mahama the president. Eji to say a gold board plus cocoa board. And it is her scanamai.
I no cry this. I mean, if you are how home make I bo candy.
Sa IMF. Asimo beka ya kojo pon kroma egu ni ho ni mass no. Owie no IMF was ODB. It was operational cost. Operational cost. And I make us look. I understand the frustration of not having power, mommy. Oh, not proposition. I remember very well, President Kufo. I can say,
so what buy to so cry and any mouse sanitation cry.
Yes, opposition. Omuni na pe obietiri because anya appointment be e the bonus be count. Na afena wa hu ana se na none of Pesusia. Say, your politicians know the first thing they think of. But outside the 90s, for now, mama, I said, look at your much and pressure. Appointment. There be any no need yet. The party members now want the pressure to no.
Okay, so
any appointments? No. Yes. Nanga, must say, as NDC, Oba, or my man win in what way. It is only appointment in book. Not also talk a fool, say them turn on. Cedi no, as I said, also the Cedi no. Say I also go to the business. Say na get hoto e. I na tintra ntwa ope.
Do ye madwin ham no mpepa ne sa.
I nam say ya ka yin to aba.
Wanye campaign ni. Aban mu nka ho.
Come neni.
Omo na be ka chere mo se mo nkoto ma omo na to mu ti na mo nkoto ma wo.
Memeti wono na minim se na ya kosi national cathedral ya to ma ho nti enu nti ese me ba sa aba no ofri so.
Pana wo bi.
National cathedral no one anti. Ebi na balugu dam no man for anti. Ebi escort no man for anti ba ade ba ko de. Wo okurase na ngo school da kura na obeti. Asore dan. Gana ni bi ani asore dan. Ani esi ye be si asore dan kakaka pa. Ade obi hu picture say esi ana. Obi ehu eti na me here MPC ni. Na be convince me say nko to aba. Eti say o be say o ba appointment asa na feel okay dia. Ene say na yin okay. Ene say na bre. Say look, me say politician be in who open to power. And Afenyo Markin is on right now. Now we're a first time member of parliament. No so fosu kwachi. But the way on what on the boss I research it. Say reserve na ye kan e wo on enye ne. Na mum no the difference.
Konye Ghana kwanzo
there be any will be.
Ye bi.
The only difference is and say ye ma eno will go for oil and amfa and yekuno. And ya be say ye be go for a gold board. Because name say you cocoa board e boa cocoa farmers no do wie ya jeje akoton ye ba e mom percentage na country no percentage sa na e wo gold man for e wo different small scale mining ye toto and glass food in kakaka na ye toni na awia na e no so boy am ye foreign reserve ayi and message no mo de ma ya mo de gold board no e pa so am materialize and I say materialize here. Is the city not stable? Is our foreign reserve not there? And then your foreign reserve I jump from a friend saying 8 billion to 14 billion. Yet I get even more. So anything that unless on we know Afenyo Markin has opportunity and go on point to go be my say bia figures no money man on boa. Na ya guess Bank of Ghana governor Fabra. Say South 240 million loss now mga sa ba a force ma gold board afi publish your accounts am say mo makana kore. All the Bank of Ghana publish on accounts. Mo even near someone to parliament. No say answer questions. I'm more data. Now we are okay. I feel one I'm so yeboa. Ya kan yeboa. But you don't go and say yan for Bawumia. Bawumia na si 1 year 2 months ni. Yan for the NDC for not so yan za for Bawumia because Bawumia want to come back in 2028. Hey, say na my campaign yang meche.
Say there ya kran so almost ya yes president man anu a gold board. Gold board is
our savior. Say ometima kan. Say gold board ni say o man anu so na gold board na how mo a. And no man so go for oil. Ade na abo e ka 3 billion no.
Enu ti na say we jai koko ho asem ide ni esi.
Look at this. Look at this. Koko na ye eja si ho.
Say en kan ho asem as first no. Where they say and that's a good no. In your tea good board in and a good board. And a good board.
My more scenario. What yes is here? A possibility may remember say 4. Now, we the third one. It will 10,000 Ghana cedis a month. And a fourth one buy. No, it will 15,000 a month. But you are allowed to hold all the 4 work. And you should do the same. A bacho, a heifer, and we play with attention power. No. It is no cocoa. And your biggest revenue generator as a country. Even though they will go to there. I don't know. I'm going to go. I know me in India for them to go to India. I know Chinese want to go to China. Yes. I let Ghana be anyone sitting free because a smuggle. All Franco, yes, checkpoint. They be son of Eno. Into that Ghana zero. Scanner Ghana Benyana said, "What of regal and sitting you?" And as most man and all. Indeed, say, okay, Coco. Anna and Uncle Messica. I eat me regularly and no come. Go no and started say Ghana started Yana and so started you. It took years of say yes smuggle the real Cote d'Ivoire in the real Togo. Not Ghana buying young capre. Then they realize no. I did nationalizing say so Coco nas creating even though one outdoor. Abre never go market young cotton. You hear a bit choker. Naga kana cano a buy so the above mine bra. Go Coco no one you know first Coco ne buy. Oh. The Ghana di home for Sony be. Gold no, Yanara assassin, a body in the minor, and your own one there. Inti any man they say a do for so. Inti so gold no hot there. Ghana, Mayaji, Wajia, Oshoka, Wakoton world market, or this Canaba, or the Bogana home. Now say no mercy catch go now. Was it because of that inti? Yes, and me it can be a gold board. Na go no ho. Ana na Ghana Cedi. E go do 16 Ghana. Na go no ho na oil fuel. Na ya to be 17 Ghana and 23 Ghana no.
Ah ya nso na etu na bit man.
Mo. Ana enunti ana ma MPP na gas yen fa go for oil emra. Because and they go near there. Yen go no. Na oil fuel and bona e kwosoro no. Yen fa cabin down. Na obi by no the better plan aba. Na chen wo de na. Mo fa fancy be my head. Na okay. I agree with them. Because if you come for go for your number, can you say any idea? I'm for good board number. But the bottom line is,
only
a useless foundation.
Okay,
I don't know only yes, because it was useless because a boy cut 3 billion. As I 3 billion now, who save the economy? Who we was as a capital? To say, me who come with me. Never heard me say, pay the enemy. Now, Obaya. But they got granted that was says I told the idea me to try no. What's our friend affair to work ofufu. Akunko we was one go di. Na obekumi anase obebo ame. Enye the same thing go for in me.
Onye ni say because of say president car say good body say for so abaso yenye scan nti ne ye be use say scanner de be industries wo man yi mu. Aba yen ha ye ho nkrakra ne ma bibire no say no na bia omo ntimi anya nti ye omo ya omo
edisi. Oh onya motere e de ya ndisi ndisu ngosi. Say we ase be say Edia ebedum rebi
Ghana mo fono some de mu 4 years
I why 8 years ebegu egu ya go board no engu yi ebegu na on metima ye ono so see you
no obi kra say 4 years e be mu twa kra ndisi for me because president no neighbor afi kra no be you
the most likely thing ndisi be wini Atamas it try 4 years Mahama buy no just a vice president as compared to Nanado on Atamas appear 2 times. No, more popular than Dr Mahama. One idea. Dr Mahama idea. So I'm going to I said didn't get as popular as will be vice president. Say a friends are 2 forcing currently is popular as should be vice president. Yeah, in the any one of the baby marketing value
Julius Debra Munina ho.
One on your popular side. Omo me popular no the ba medi. And as I got that crown. Say ni bangro as any popular side. The good word of Mahama and the business of Tuaba. I had the bad will of Mahama and ending the 8 years now. It's only first 4 years now. And the bad governance of Danado and ending the other 10 for my Bawumia. Kufo at the end of the day, who said, maybe I can enquire you. And the ending MPP for so much was. A role is there. Payampe, Nario, Any jam coin, a man for buy. As simple as ABCD. Indeed, the NDC
calculation in an idea.
Now, me on fire, any NDC baby 2028.
Analysis man, well,
and one of my, they are which by 2022, no. Oh, see, as I'm George Macha say, Casa Mobusui. Not much I say, who said, Scatcha Sabo Butum Pe Umobia. And I started pay
because more positions, I'm doing who say Casa now, Casa, so by you, and say,
Sani, a behunti, MPP, could open Cromamone, Afenyo-Markin, Grand Legacy, because we are minority leader, and we have seen an MPP man, or say Chairman's Abuswa, where majority minority leader pay. This man speak with sense, with accuracy, on Kasaba hat, or Kasawia, no question, a bed in Zabas. Papa no chantro, even though no position.
Ain't ya Afenyo-Markin say ye on say it's a call parliament right now. Minority no almost. But we share the how Afenyo-Markin say tier group who more come in now boom now. That's almost in the dome. It's one more call no na. It's all and na magana for pen asem.
They enye nyansa.
Ain't no one shall so no so.
There's a reason why there are few numbers is actually making sense to them. Yeah, there's a reason.
O say Chairman Sabun one said anytime no on time kasa.
Oh yes, nanka ba now MPP ashia say gain the trust. Ka ba now commercial say recover. Afenyo-Markin. Krona e be na na memia no.
O say bere no.
Mo 9 out of 10 of the Afenyo-Markin sika. Ubi so Ghana ni bia we even senior high school. Baga to nyansa nim. 9 out of 10 kasa bia obekasa o parliament. Ubi se Ghana ni a oko school bia na obekasa nyansa nim.
You know, lady woman with the cocoa ba.
No akota form. No akwa budget a man pateki no akwa press conference. Like enema na ogina so e dey campaign no. And between be say ndi Bawumia wo so onya sin sakra.
Obi say the more graduate every minority become majority because of the search na dey go oboko. So we graduation ma search na dey go.
See no ma beko. Am for no me o constituency a o me ko fi. Because baba me so be part 2022. Na dance me ka bo aji kasama ko jo pon kroma. Na nabi. Afenyo-Markin. Hey. And yes, I have a say Chairman Sabun so asaba back.
Yes, on be yense sign.
Chairman to
Chairman national chairman. They say we Western region.
MPP Negru.
I was here na me kan ye when you be ma say MPP Negru. And so me say wo so no de opusu ne ho a enua bia okwaye bia no etutu. MPP for aka ho na no fiada e wo ye o me mrehye bedwefie ye parliament ebra Ghana mampani ediso na koye good for reserve policy no mo si e ya bandada no e na ede baaye eni nti wo mo hwa na wo anye sa fans na afa mo ho Kwakye Ofosu spokesperson e wo ye abankesiem so to bi dia ma no wo mo se enye Ghana hanko a na ya sha ase aye sa policy wi bi e sha ase a che eni zenka ya de bone dia anko mo nkase wo mo pe e ya de papa nti no omo de yemfa emma wo mo woni eye Kwakye Ofosu eye adwen anase woni ne nya adwen fa comment ne bra so e na Alexander Afenyo-Markin kwame na kanidi ho ono se ne small kan so no wo chirechire mu no woni ne ye adwen ana good for reserve no eye wan na de baye na ye dan na ye ko good board no so e boa anase wo mayi no e san twen ye koyechi fa comment ne bra comment section wo kai se wo be share amanu bi so me akabi subscribe to channel no e fa maye e de ne ye ba ko pe maame akua foku mene
Maxi Billian
yakram